Yo, you made it. I'm pumped. I'm super excited. Congratulations on joining the 5 days of increase challenge. I'm telling you, this is going to be a challenge like no other. If you hung around me at all, you know I'm kind of different. And I talk about the stuff other people don't talk about, especially in the Christian world. You're welcome. So I'm going to show you how to create a life of increase every day better than the last, a life that continually trends upward, not just in the area of money, but in all the categories. Money, too, though. That's where we're going to put a lot of the emphasis is breaking old money mindsets, poverty mindsets, thinking like the wealthy think. These are all the lessons that I have learned from working with and coaching seven-figure and eight-figure entrepreneurs over the last several years. I've got to really dive into their mindsets, hang around with them. Making this big money is normal. There's a process called normalization. I'll talk about it in the challenge. But I want to make these bigger numbers normal to you. I want to make success normal to you. I want to make wealth and riches and abundance and prosperity normal to you, not this thing that's far away or far out or rare or for the special or for the lucky or for the whatever. For you, Christian, God's people. And in this book, he's giving you every financial advantage. We're going to cover those financial advantages in the challenge. I'm going to show you how to apply them. That's what's going to make this very, very different. One of the things is I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff and talk all. Most Christians and preachers and that type are afraid to talk about money, afraid they're going to offend you and you're going to leave. And if I'm too real, you ain't going to get it and you're going to get mad. Like if you're going to get mad, you're going to get mad at me. You probably wouldn't have made it this far, but I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I'm going to teach you real life skills, how to crush it, how to increase, how to think, how to believe, how to put your faith towards your finances. I'm pumped for you. The mission here is we're creating an increase army, right? I'm tired of the reputation of Christians being looked at as like broke, poor, soft, weak, handout, beggarly. Not anymore. It's a misrepresentation of God. That's not the God that made us. It's not the God of the Bible. Every incident when he talks about money, and there's more scriptures about money than there is heaven and hell. There's more scriptures about money and money related topics than any other topic in the Bible. Why? Because God knew it was going to be important. We live in an economic world. I'm going to help you crush it there. Just like you want your kids to win, he wants his kids to win. And if we're not winning financially, we're just going to drift off into average. We're going to drift off into mediocrity. Oh, I got so much cool stuff to teach you guys, so many cool stories to tell you. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm glad you're here. Let's do this. I'm going to surprise you right now. And we're actually going to give you your first increase lesson immediately. A lot of you thought you were going to have to wait till tomorrow, but you're going to get it right now. So I'm going to dive in to my screen. I'm going to show you something really cool here. We're going to keep it quick, but it's going to be powerful. All right, here we go. I just wanted to say congrats. You're about to break through to the next level of living. We're about to get you out of average and into awesome. Let's do this. I want to welcome you to the increased life again. I'm going to just repeat myself because there's a way to create, craft, and design your day, your week, your month, your year, your life that creates increase, creates every day getting better than the last. And I'm going to show you how to do that through my framework. There's two things I had to decide on. All right. Y'all should take notes. Pull your phone out. Take notes on this. Two things I had to decide on to create a life of increase. All right. First is I had to make the decision to live the life of increase. You'll hear me talk about this. Our definition of commitment that we live by is entering a room with no exits. All right. That's the working definition of commitment. With your marriage, you enter a room with no exits. Getting out's not an option, so you make it work. When it comes to increase, financial increase in my marriage, family, faith, finances, fitness, all the things, I'm committed and I made the decision that I'm going to obtain that. I need you to make that decision. I entered a room with no exits. That's what you're going to do. I put my foot down and decided that I would be the one to change my family tree. I don't come from wealth. I don't come from money. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. I don't come from, like, my parents are awesome. They loved me. They're great parents, middle working class. I think it's safe to say they did not live out a full life as much as they could have. Okay. I made the decision I'm going to be the one who changes my lineage, the legacy of the Peters name. That's on me. I'm taking that responsibility. My kids, my kids' kids, and my kids' kids' kids. and further on are going to be affected by the decisions and the actions I make and take today. And that's you as well. And then second is the big one. So that first one was kind of an internal decision. The second one is something it changed everything. I completely eliminated one phrase, one sentence, and I committed to never speaking it again. These are the two things I had to decide on. I'm going to change my family tree. I'm going to live the increased life, and I'm not going to say this one phrase ever again. When I made this decision to stop saying, there's one phrase the devil's used to keep Christians poor since basically the beginning of time. My lids and limits were instantly removed when I took out this phrase. Okay, it's extremely powerful. It's why I made a video about it. I'll probably talk about it in most of the videos that you see in the challenge coming up. But I need you to commit with me. Can you commit? I'm gonna say it here. Just take a minute and say, okay, I'm all in, Trev. I don't know what the phrase is yet, but I trust my coach. I'm gonna say it. I will commit. Okay, you're gonna commit to not saying the phrase I'm about to show you. Got it? Yeah, give me a head nod. Give me a yup. Okay. Will you commit with me right now? Never saying this again. When I stopped saying this phrase, everything opened up for me. I saw everything in a new perspective, a new light with new possibilities. A new belief happened for me when I quit saying this phrase, okay? Never again will I say, I can't afford it. I can't afford that. You committed. You're all in. You're going to trust your increase coach this week. You're going to cut this from your vocabulary, your spouse's vocabulary. You guys are done with this phrase. It has no place in a Christian's life. Travis, what about Wisdom? What about Financial Peace University and Dave Ramsey? And well, no, stop. I like Dave Ramsey. This is not that. Here's the deal. When we say words like, I can't afford that, or phrases like that, we are literally putting a belief, a lid, a limit on what we believe we can achieve. And therefore, our brains don't even go there. We don't even try. The Bible says all things are possible to him who believes. If you believe you can't afford something, you're right, and you won't. And you won't even look for options. You won't even look for opportunities. You will slant negative in all that you do. You will be a closed off, limited person. You'll have a lid on your life. And if you come talk to me in 6 months and you're still broke, I'm going to find out if you're saying this phrase. I know you are. It's that powerful. See, when you eliminate limiting beliefs and old money mindsets, you instantly remove your increased lids. There's reasons you've been stuck, and the reasons you've been stuck is your belief system. The reason you've been limited, the reason you aren't making the money you should be making, you've been limited by your belief system because you believe you can't afford it. And when you say you can't afford it, that means that you think there's an outside circumstance that controls how much money you make, like the economy or the government or a job or your boss, or you don't have a college degree. You blame all these external things and you say, that's why I can't afford it because I didn't go to college. I can't afford it. I'm not made of money. I'm not lucky enough to be rich. It's just old junk you got to get rid of and commit to getting rid of it. We're going to work on it this week. But you got to get rid of this stuff, man. I'm telling you, you no longer can you say, I can't afford that. See, your mind and spirit will now be open to seeing new increased opportunities that were right under your nose, but you never noticed them before because you closed yourself off to them by believing that you couldn't. If you say, I can't afford that, it means you're an I can't person, a victim. I'm a victim of my circumstance. No. You create your circumstances. Mark 11, 23, 24, you speak out the desired end result that you want and you get it. You're in control. This comes from within. Okay? I'm preaching. Y'all better be taking notes. This is life-changing stuff. This is pivotal. All right? So now you're going to replace that old thought of I can't afford it, and you're going to switch your mindset and you're going to say, how can I afford that? Because here's what happens. If I went to this whiteboard right here, say you and your spouse went to this whiteboard, and you wrote down across the top, you said, how can I cut expenses? How can we cut expenses? And you got to put your minds together. Guess what you'd come up with? Ways to cut expenses. You'd be over there and you'd say, okay, we'll cut cable. We'll quit going to the gym. We'll quit eating out. We'll go sell our cars and get some cheap cars. We'll get out of our house and downgrade to an apartment. You'll come up with ways to cut expenses, right? But what do you think would happen if you wrote across the top of the board, how can I increase my income? Or if there's something you wanted or needed, maybe you needed to upgrade your house is bursting, you got 5 kids in a 3 bedroom house and you're maxed out and you want to move, but you're saying, I just can't afford it. And we don't make that much money and we got let go because of XYZ and all this stuff. And it's like all the reasons you start to tell yourself all the reasons you can't, I can't. Well, guess what? You believe that. And when you believe it, you act on it. And when you act on it, you get those results. But if you were to say, hey, I need a new house, I need to upgrade it, how can I afford that? God, give me some strategy here. Give me some increased strategy. You see our situation. Your word says that you will give me the desires of my heart. Well, I've got a heart's desire to have a bigger house, to take care of my family, to give them room to spread out. I want to host parties. I want to have people over. I want to have a small group at my house instead of having to go to someone else's house. I want to host Thanksgiving at my house. Those are desires of my heart, Lord. Help me. What's my increased strategy? Show me. How can we afford this? How can we make this happen? That's what happens when you take that new belief system on. That's the results you get. Stick with me, people. I got to get this in you. If I can get this in you, can you imagine the possibilities? Can you imagine how much impact, how much people you can help? All right, I'm getting too excited here. So here's what happens when you do this. I've got 2 quick stories for you. First one, I am so glad I don't have an I can't afford it mentality. And this happened when I was in my early 20s. I was renting a house from a friend, and I remember I was at a job, and it was a small business. They wrote me a paycheck, and the paycheck bounced. So it actually put my bank account like negative $800. And they were working on fixing it, but my bank account was negative 800. I needed to get some food. I was hungry, and I owed my dude rent, $345. I walked out on the front porch. It was a sunny day, summer day. I walked out, and I was like, "All right, Lord, I'm a man of integrity. That's important to you too. I owe this guy some money. I told him I would pay him first of the month every month. I need some money. I need a strategy right now." And I asked him for some guidance. And as soon as I made that prayer, I looked over to my right and saw that that yard of my neighbor was overgrown. And I thought, well, I've got a lawnmower. I got a weed eater. Let me go see if they want me to take care of their lawn. So I knocked on the door and I said, hey, here's my situation. Can I take care of your lawn for $30? And they're like, yes, thank you. That'd be awesome. Yes, please. I said, great. Before I went and got my stuff, I looked over in the next house down. His yard was high too. So I just knocked on his door and I said, hey, I'm mowing this guy's lawn for 30. Want me to knock yours out at the same time? I noticed yours was a little bit high. I know we all get busy. He said, yes, please. That would be a huge help. Thank you. They're thanking me. Well, I just got 2 houses in a row, $60. Uh, I just went to the next house. I skipped a couple houses and then I went to the next one, next one, next one. I ended up getting 7 houses on the same side of my street. I didn't even go across the street. Same side of my street. I got 7 houses in one day. All right. Some of those houses were a little bit bigger. I ended up getting more than $345. But not only that, it created a recurring income for every 2 weeks. I'd go mow their lawn every 2 weeks and get that $30 again and again and again. Guys, can you imagine? Here's what most people do. I didn't know most people didn't think that way. Here's how most people think. I'm finding out as I've gone around the sun a few more times. Most people, yeah, and here's the deal. I've got tenants. I have people who rent properties from me. I have some rental properties, and they have this attitude. They come to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm behind on rent. This job fell through. This opportunity didn't happen. Man, I'm so sorry. I can't pay you. I'm just going to go ahead and just start looking for another place to live, a cheaper place to live." They instantly go, I can't afford it. A lot of people in my position would have done that. They would have gone to the landlord, hat in hand, apologized, and said, hey, I'm actually just I'm gonna go move back in with my parents for a little bit. I'm so sorry, I can't pay you. That's how most people think. If you think that way right now, I'm not condemning you, but I'm showing you there's a better way. And you got to get on my page. You got to say, I'm on the increase page. I'm on the how can I afford it? Lord, what's my increase strategy here? You got to get on that page. You got to get with me, people, especially if you're a Christian. If you're renting right now, side note, and you owe your landlord money, you better get with God right now and get your increase strategy because you're a person of integrity. Don't you dare try to break out of that contract because you can't afford it, can't pay it. I'm a victim, circumstances, lost my job. I don't care if you lost your job. I've lost my job a ton of times. You'll hear my stories throughout this. Go be a person of increase. You can afford it. How can you afford it? Go put some action behind your faith. And then the second story, I got to keep this quick because it's supposed to be a short video, but I get all riled up. Years ago, before I had a beard, I was married, but before I had a beard, I have this thing where I can look like I'm about 19 years old. Okay, and two door-to-door salesmen came up, knocked on my door, hot summer day, and they're just talking a mile a minute. They were really, really bad at what they were doing. I didn't even know what they were selling. I stopped them and I said, "Hey guys, I'm in sales too. Can I give you some pointers?" And they were both like, "Yeah, please, that'd be great, actually." So I started helping them, coaching them a little bit, showing them some stuff they're doing wrong and why it wasn't actually doing what they thought it was doing with their pitch. I went and got them two waters. It was a hot day, kept them outside, but I went and brought waters to them. And then one of them stopped me and says, "Wait, you own this house? This is a nice house. This neighborhood is phenomenal. You own this? You're so young. How do you own this?" And I started talking to them about God's promises for financial blessing. I talked to them about tithing, about giving, sowing, and reaping, the principles, how it all works, putting my hand to something so we can prosper. Wouldn't you know it? Within just a few minutes, I got both of them saved and born again and going to heaven. And they ended up texting me questions for weeks afterwards. They didn't even live there. They lived in another state. They were just traveling through trying to make sales. They lived in another state, but they were texting me, "Hey, what about this verse? Hey, do you have any more verses for me? Hey, can you pray for this?" Like, got people saved and discipled and all those great things because I had a nice house, guys. This stuff matters. Increase matters. Wealth, like the Bible talks multiple times about other nations seeing your land and calling it a delight. They saw my land and said, "This is a delightful land. How can you afford this? You're so young." Open the door for a Jesus conversation. Now they're going to heaven. You see how this works? Would that conversation have happened if I did not believe God for increase for a nice house? See, what's cool about that house is when we got married, it was actually our first house. When we got married, I was believing God that we didn't want to do the traditional route where you start in an apartment, you got get like a little junky apartment and then like a little starter home and you try to like to just we were just like, "God, we don't want to live in apartments. We don't want that." On paper, we couldn't afford it. All right, on paper, it didn't make sense. But I asked God for an increased strategy. And that increased strategy that He gave me allowed us to actually buy the home, get in it. And when we thought it wasn't possible, okay, we thought it wasn't possible. I almost said I can't afford it. Like I had those thoughts. I was at the time I wasn't saying that I had this eliminated, but I was thinking in the natural, it doesn't make sense. Like I didn't really have a job. Rachel was on a teacher's salary. It didn't make sense for us to get this house. But I asked for an increased strategy. He gave me an increased strategy. I applied it. It worked. We got in the house and it's getting people saved because they saw my land as a delight. I believed God for increase and I got it. This is what I'm helping you guys do. All right. So here's what to expect coming up over the next few days. All right. I need you to keep your notifications on every morning. You're going to be getting an email, a messenger notification, a text. I'm just going to let you know the new lesson is live, up and available. Now, these video lessons will come down. They are timed. I need you to take action on them. Don't sleep on it. Make time for this. You got to get up earlier, plan your lunch break, whatever you got to do. Do these things and do them with the crowd, do them with us. Okay. I'm going to bring you a new lesson on how to apply these increased strategies to your life. There's going to be a video, there's going to be homework, and there's going to be an increase assignment. So those are super fun. Now, number three, you can expect a commitment from me, and I expect a commitment from you. No more dabbling. No more, "I hope this works." No more, "let's see if this is it." You're going to go all in. You're going to enter a room with no exits. You will get the desired results. You're going to create increase in all areas of your life. All right. You're going to eliminate old money mindsets like, "I can't afford it." And I'm going to show you a few others along the way. My commitment is I'm going to show up and give you my best, but you got to commit to the same thing for me. You got to commit to doing something different and being open to something different. Got it? Cool. So here's our increased scripture that we're going to be standing on this week. John 10:10. The thief, this is Jesus talking. The thief comes only in order to steal, kill, and destroy. Thieves. Jesus said, "I came that you may have and enjoy life, have it in abundance to the full till it overflows." He says, that's why I came, guys. That's why Jesus came to have Like we get it backwards where we think Jesus came just so like when we die, we go to heaven and that's the prize. That's a part of it. But he said, I came that you have and enjoy life and have life in abundance to the full till it overflows. You got stuff to do. You're on earth for a reason. It's not just to die and go to heaven. You got a mission. You want to make sure you have and enjoy life in abundance to the full. That's what I'm going to be staying on this week. I would write that down. I would put it on I still do some old school note cards to keep it in front of my eyes. I'll put it in my phone as a reminder so it pops up. We'll wrap up with this. Coming up, be ready to learn, grow, and take action. You're going to make time for this challenge, okay? You're going to be open to something different outside your normal, outside the box, not your everyday Sunday sermon. This is something different. We're going to cover things like how to make sure you increase financially without becoming greedy, creating the increased outcomes you want without cutting expenses and eating ramen and being decrease minded. I'm going to show you how to increase your way to success. We're going to uncover hidden poverty mindsets that have kept you down, kept you from the success you deserve. It's what's been blocking you. I'm going to show you how to recession proof your life using God's financial principles for increase. We're talking about tithing. That's still for today. What is it? How's it play in? Should we be doing it? I'm going to show you the 5 F's for creating a life of increase. We're going to cover how to increase in your faith, finances, fulfillment, family, and fitness, all in a way that's sustainable and doable and fun and exciting. And you're actually going to get it this time. I'm going to talk about your blessing covenant with God and how to activate it. We're going to talk about the wealth formula, how money actually flows. Most people don't even understand this, especially Christians. It's why so many are broke. You're welcome. And then I'm going to talk about which is better, financial blessings or financial miracles. So I'm going to see you bright and early tomorrow morning. You guys got this. I'm excited for you. You're going to experience life on another level. I'm going to help you create a life that you can't wait to wake up for. Tomorrow it all begins. So keep an eye on your inbox. It's going to be awesome. Write down John 10:10. Speak it over your life. Speak it over your family. And I'll see you tomorrow.